today, that got me. I sent out an email earlier in the week, right? So Prodigal, we've been around for about 4.5 years. But the truth is, we've been planning Prodigal and dreaming and talking in the Moro's house well over 5. So it's talking over 5 years. This has been blood, sweat, and tears. So it's bittersweet that it's ending. I've got emotional all week right now. I wanted to honor a few people. If you've been here from day one, I want you to stand up. Can we give these people a round of applause? I want you guys to stay standing. I think a lot of people, myself included, confused happiness for breadth. I need to experience a lot of things, visit a lot of countries, try a lot of different things out. But God has been showing me lately that it's not breadth, but it's depth. It's not a bunch of churches and a new church every year. It's the same church for an extended period of time. And I look at you guys, and I know you've gone through a lot, and I just feel so honored to have done this with you. So thank you. Give me a round of applause. The crazy part about this, right, is we're not dying. Today, someone said it, and it was really good for me. It's like we're graduating. Not because we're going to something better, but you finish up high school, and you just know there's some really good times. And you know that you experienced some great times, you experienced some low times. You found yourself, you grew up, you solidified a lot of who you were. And then the end of senior year comes, and it's this bittersweet moment, right, where you realize the gravity of that it's ending, and that it won't be the same. And yes, you're excited about the future, but it's this tension of, yeah, it's also good to pause and realize that this chapter won't be it yet. And so I just want to communicate, I feel that tension. Like I said, this has been Aaron and I's everything for 5 years. And so we feel the tension. We are so excited about what God is doing. And we are so excited about new life. And we believe God has incredible things in store for us. But that doesn't mean that there's still not some sadness. And that it's bittersweet. And so, I keep around so many things. What do we do for our last service, right? But for those of us who have been together for 5 years, we promised each other and said this church would be a family. That we would die on that hill and we would do everything within our power to create a family. And every church says it, but it's different to put it into practice. And we continue to get on each other. How do we put this into practice? And so I thought, in typical Prodigal fashion, that we would end simply by hearing from one another. You don't need a pump-up speech from me. We don't need a rally rah-rah. We have been from day one, and we will be on our very last night, an authentic family. And so really what I thought would be fun, and what I thought would be fitting, and I thought would be healthy, is for us to share. Share some things that have happened over the past 5 years. Share something God has shown you. Share a prayer that's been answered. Share something that was hard. Seeing Matt and Angier up there got me. Seeing Jonathan up there got me. Those are 2 of our friends who died. There's highs and lows. And so I just thought it'd be really fitting. Let's just talk. Let's hear from each other. Let's enter into this new season the way we started, by being a family. And so I really want to be careful. I don't want this to feel like seniority. Like, oh, if you haven't been here 3 years, you can't talk. Or if you have only been here 1 year, that's not what we want to do at all. If you've been here 4 months and you want to talk about what Prodigal has already been showing you, I would love to hear from you. So with that, we would like to open the floor up and hear about this journey, the highs, lows, and everything in between. Throw the hand up and I'll bring the mic. Go back to you.
I was ready. Oh,
come on up, Serena. Come on up.
So we started a Prodigal. I guess Prodigal was around for about a year and a half. Excuse me, I need a moment. And we were going to Harvest. And the thing about Harvest is that you are invisible. And I was okay with that. I was okay with being invisible. I didn't want people to come and talk to me. It made me very, very uncomfortable. So we come to Prodigal, and the thing about Prodigal, and I tell this to everybody, is that if you're new, you kind of stick out like a sore thumb. But I knew that's kind of something that I was ready for. I was ready to put myself out there, talk to people, create relationships, and because Prodigal was so small, it wasn't as intimidating. So that's what I've been able to do, and I'm very grateful for Prodigal. I'm looking forward to new life, kind of cliche, but new life, new me. So I'm grateful for you guys and for Matt and Aaron. You've really given me the courage to create some lasting relationships. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Ron, can we take some live? Because there's some people who want to watch it all. Yes, we are. Hello, the 3 of you that are watching. Serena, I'm so proud of you. If there would have been a pot of who's going to share first,
It wouldn't have been me.
and I'm so proud of you. That was amazing. Thank you. The next time is who wants to I'm doing it now.
Hi, Alicia. I think you're watching. My name is Meredith. I've been going to Prodigal for about a year and a half, and I would say it was about a year before I came to Prodigal that God started to stir up my heart that I wanted to go to a smaller church. I'm very similar to Serena. I had gone to Rock Harbor for 4 years, and I did feel invisible, and I felt a stirring and a restlessness, and I didn't know what it was. I actually thought I was going to move to Arizona. And I actually had a conversation with my parents about moving, and then 3 weeks later I met Tim, so it's very different now. But I did have a prayer list of things, and I just wanted, I wanted genuine community, I wanted to be seen, and I wanted to have an authenticity, and especially coming in as a girlfriend, I wanted to feel like I had a separate relationship with everyone. I wanted to feel like an individual, and Prodigal has been so much of that to me, and I've just been so blessed by the friendships and community that have come from this church. And it is amazing that, like, in that uncomfortable place for a year before I came here, it's in that uncomfortable places, and as living with mom here in the basement or whatever, that like so many people have been able to come to Prodigal because of that. It wouldn't have happened if we were at the movie theaters. I think that is so. I think I was reflecting on that a lot lately, so I'm really enjoying this. That's it.
Thank you, Meredith. My first memory of Meredith, I will never forget because it blew me away. We were at a Prodigal staff Christmas party, and Tim brought Meredith, but you got +1, and I had met you maybe once or twice, but you ended the night by saying, "I want to pray for Matt and Eric," and it was just beautifully bold. It wasn't showy. It was the perfect line if you meant it, and I knew from that day that you were special. I knew that Tim had found an amazing woman, and you've been a blessing since day one.
All right, for those, I'll try to still. Okay.
Come on.
Okay. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Blake. Matthew is my brother-in-law. So I think that it's been amazing to me to see how raw the church has been with each other. We've gone through a lot of really, really hard times. A number of us have also gone through really difficult times that weren't necessarily shared directly in the church. There's been a family member of mine who's been going through that. A couple of years ago, my brother-in-law lives in Washington, who's married to my sister, was diagnosed with ALS. And during that journey of kind of him going through test after test after test to determine if it was Lou Gehrig's disease or not, it was very, very terrifying. You didn't know what was going to happen, and the worst did end up coming true. Well, I remember the first Sunday at Prodigal, while we were still at Jeffrey Trail, the first Sunday after we discovered that it was officially ALS. Really difficult time for me and also for Jen as we were processing everything about what that means for his family and the rest of the family. And so second half of worship comes up and I suddenly just lose it. I'm bawling my eyes out, and then before I know it, Jen is with me and we're making a scene. That's probably top 2 times the hardest that I've ever cried in my life. And suddenly I started feeling just hands on my shoulder and on my back, just resting there, people just letting me know that they were there with us and with me. Nobody pried, nobody forced themselves into conversation. People just started gathering around us, having no idea what was going on, just laying their hands on us. And that was so impactful for me and also for Jen to see you guys come with such love in such an unknown situation. You didn't know what was going on, but you saw 2 of your brother and your sister hurting and weeping, and it didn't matter. You guys came and loved on us. So we've been wanting to share that for a while, and so thanks.
So I want to break it up into a few stories of my own. I thought I'll never forget the first time I did an altar call. So for those of you guys, it's very churchy language, right? So I really believe that every single person makes a personal decision to follow Jesus. Like there's that moment where you say, I do, you're all in. And so sometimes in church we do these invitations, right? Where, hey, if you've never made that personal I do moment, we want to give you the opportunity to do it. But let me kind of just be vulnerable and put you inside the mind of a pastor. It's a very vulnerable thing. Because you stand up here and you say, I believe someone's supposed to say yes to me. And I'm just being honest with you. Like, it's very vulnerable. Your heart is kind of racing. You feel silly. You want to believe. Help me with unbelief, right? It's that whole thing. And so the very first time I did it, I'm so nervous. I'm like, God, I'm a new pastor. I think this is what we're supposed to do. So I'm going to do it. And I shut my eyes. And I open them. And this bubbling, big, beautiful, crying man is walking down the aisle. It was amazing. I just look up and I see with tears in his eyes him coming up. It worked! So check this out, right? So then you get a little confident, right? As I remember the second time, I do an altar call. This time God put it on my heart. But this time I went, no, God, there's nobody. Like, Prodigal was pretty small at the time, but I know every single person, nobody's going to say yes. So you kind of feel like this is going to be awkward. Like, whatever, God, you're God, I know, I'll do it. So I do it, I shut my eyes, and out of the blue, this guy named Juan walks up. And I had never met Juan in my life. I know Prodigal. I never even seen Juan's face. He looked like an angel, and he came up. And everybody cheers, and I take him to the side, and I go, hey, I'm sorry, man, I don't even know you. How did you hear about us? And he said, some Prodigal people met me at the mall last last night and said to check out their church. And so the very first time he ever came was the Sunday that he accepted Jesus. And so then my faith as a pastor is like, oh my goodness. So then I went to a whole new level. Ready? I did a baptism altar call. Okay? So let me explain on this verse. I really believe, right? I like part of Christianity is getting baptized, right? It's a beautiful moment. And so we had a date set. Let's call it January 28th. And nobody signed up. Like, God, but I really feel like we're supposed to do baptisms. And some people encouraged me, said, Matt, fill up the tub anyways. Okay. So I fill up the tub, do it, fill water, thinking someone's going to talk to me that morning. So the tub is full. But in my head, I'm like, I'm not going out there until someone said something. Service ends, nobody says anything. But everybody still thinks that baptisms are going on. They don't know that there's nobody signed up. And I'm sweating like, it's who calls the bluff first? I'm like, I got nobody. But I was like, dang it, we're going to the tub. And I'll never forget going to the tub and being like, so we don't have anybody, but I feel like there's somebody who's supposed to get baptized today. And I'm telling you, this is a lot scarier than the typical altar calls. And you know what happened? Nobody showed. And I remember scratching my head and wondering why. God, I was trying to do something that honors you. I was stepping out in faith. I was doing the Elijah call down the fire. Like, I'll build the altar and wait for you to come. And to be totally transparent, it was really hard for me to swallow for a few months. But I felt silly. It felt weird. And I was also a little ticked at God. It's like, I did my part. I filled up the tub. You're supposed to do your part. But this is part of the culture that I want to transition to new life. Sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know. Like, I wish I could look each of you in the eyes and tell you I know exactly why it went down that way. And here's the ribbon bow story. And I learned this. But sometimes life is in process. And I have grown from that moment to just say, there's things I don't understand. And I probably may never on this side of eternity, but God, you're still good. And God, I still trust you. And so even if you guys are in that in-between moment, we're so tempted sometimes to always be able to wrap it up. Wrap it up with a verse, or wrap it up with a bow. But I look at that baptism story and I still can't wrap it up. But I'm learning and growing that that's okay. And so I wanted to share some of those amazing moments. And even that moment, I'm growing and learning to look back, even at the baptism one fondly. Because there's sometimes you gotta do what looks a little crazy. Robert, come on, I want to hear your story.
Old guy. I'm sitting down up there like, oh, back. So we were talking a little bit about highs and lows. You know, in the pattern of the strictly. I'm just remembering when we went to the theater, and that was such a high. You know. I mean, we had been at Jeffrey Trent, it had been nice, but this place was, I just imagined that at some point the theater was just going to be filled with people. It was going to be, you know, capacity and people lined up waiting to hear the product we had. And it was so cool. We had a beautiful stage that had been built for Matt, you know, the whole shot. And then all of a sudden, you know, the record scratch movement tells us they kicked us out. And then we had been there how long?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. And it was exciting. It was beautiful. It was great. And it's like, we got no church. And, you know, you have to, like, looking at God, like, what the heck, Lord? You know? And so there we were at the park.
Homeless.
Yeah, at the park. And fine. And then, you know, we ended up here, back at Mom's house. And the thing is, though, that, you know, we've gone through, even though we've maintained the name Prodigal, we've gone through a traumatic identity change in the church. We've gone through numerous locations. Our identity is changing again, but I think it's taught me that has been so different from over the years, my experience with the churches, is the church, literally. I mean, it's like it has no bearing on where we are. It has no bearing on what name is up there. You know, church has become so often in our culture a place. You know, it's a building, it's this, but it's us. I mean, we have survived so much, and those of you guys that have been here a year, you know, I think have seen that you know, we really are a family, that we've stuck together, that we've gone through all of this, and here we are. And it doesn't matter if there's 50, 60, 80, or 20 people here, you know, because of the schedule, you know, a lot of people couldn't show up all the time. And, you know, sometimes you get a little discouraged, but here we are. We've been through it all. There's a lot of scars, but we're still here. And so, you know, God has taught me that. I know it's taught a lot of us that we're a family, so nothing's going to break that up. It doesn't matter what happens in the future, man. Seeing how God has operated on here with this church has just given me so much peace. It's like now, you know, we could lose that place and be like, okay. You know, we're going to be fine. You know, we'll go to the park. Church there for a couple of weeks. I don't come back here with we have it at our house. You know, we did have service at our house. So it doesn't matter. We're a family.
I love that. That's so cool. I love that. Like the first thing you said. You understand.
So I just want to share a quick little story of like real early on when I was going to Prodigal, because Prodigal meant a lot to me. I was just thinking back there. I wasn't planning on sharing, but I was like going to Prodigal. I think for about 8 months, and I was by myself at this point. I'd been going with other friends, and they had moved on to a different church. And it was a time in my life where I was just totally lost, and I wasn't working. I wasn't employed. I was looking for a job. I went by myself to Prodigal, and I was just sitting there, and I was kind of filtering in and out a lot, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this, but just not staying after, not coming early, not really talking to anybody. I didn't really know that many people. And I just love what Matt had shared, and I did that kind of awkward thing after the service where I was like, should I go talk to Matt? I didn't really introduce myself yet. But I was like, gotta go talk to him. You gotta say, hey, appreciate what you shared. So I did that awkward thing where he's talking to somebody, I just kind of stand like, he's like waiting, like, and I was literally about to just be like, I'll catch him another time at least. That extra pause and just talk to him, because God kind of put that on my heart. So I just introduced myself and say, hey, I love what you guys going on. He immediately asked me to let's go get lunch. And so we planned a time to get lunch. We get lunch over at the Chipotle over here. And this is when I realized that God had definitely put Prodigal in my life for a reason. Because me and Matt just kind of get real deep real quick. And I shared with him, hey, I lost my dad when I was 17. And he shared with me he lost his dad when he was 19. And it was within 1 month of each other. And we just had this like moment of honesty and clarity. And then he told me, hey, come play basketball with us tonight at this place right here. And it was in that moment I realized that I felt lost. All my family's out in Colorado. I don't have any family out here. And didn't have a job at the time. And just feeling like God had put this in my life and put like a family around me. And there's still a ton of people I want to get to know better and open up more. A lot of you guys in here, but I know that this guy over here has been a huge part of my life. And this church has too, and family. And so I'm definitely grateful.
I love you, man. Oh, I promise you, Cindy first. Sean, you next. Sean, you next.
Hi guys, I'm Yesenia. So, how I got to Prodigal was really interesting, and I say this because the people who invited me to Prodigal, they lived in, one of them in particular lived in a house, the Larkstone house, and they were moving out of it, so we had a night where we can kind of look back and reflect about things that happened at that house. And one of those in particular things was when I decided to be a part of the prayer team here, and also getting a word from Matt, that it was a very hard hard time. I think Matt was, I don't know, like the Lord just gave me this word for him. And I remember I'm like, I don't want to do it because I have just a fear of just like speaking. But I did it anyway. And I remember that moment, and it was just kind of like, you know, by doing that, stepping into it, like I knew that I was in this also with you, as the Lord was in it with you. And being part of Prodigal has really helped me grow as a leader and the person who I'm called to be, and what the Lord has done in my life on being able to speak truth and to rely on the Lord. I have a wonderful mentor who's just mentored me through so much things in prayer and in my life, that I have this well of knowledge that I had no idea what to do with, and I still don't. So, but it's been a process to practice that here and along with friends and family who just support me a lot. And it has been an amazing journey growing with you in leadership, and you encouraging me to just step out and speak, and the people in this room who just encouraged me to speak. And how important that is. Like, being seen in a small church is scary, but it's also beautiful because in that process you see who you are, and you learn that the people around you are not here to hurt you, they're here to love you. And I think that's just been like the craziest thing. It's just like, I'm up here, I actually have my glasses on so I can see you guys. So it's, normally I take them off, you know, so it's just been a wonderful experience to pray alongside each and every one of you, and fear of even being rejected, of like, I said something I shouldn't have said, Lord, but being met with love anyway. So it's been quite a journey. So it's just like great. I don't know, like there's just, praying today there was something so final about like the end of this chapter, but something so beautiful about it, because it's not in, I guess, in malice, it's just in warmth and in love, you know, so, yeah.
I got reminded of that story. It was when our pastor, right, left a picture, and it was one of the lows for Aaron and I. And I had known Yesenia a little bit because we had some mutual friends, but not that much. And I know exactly what you're saying. You're sitting here with me at this worship night, and she slips me this note. I look at it, and it was the words of God, and it froze me. And I double took you and went, how did you know that? And it's just so beautiful that our relationship started by you lifting me up. And you've done that ever since I met you. I'm just so grateful for you. You've served us so well. You have lifted so many of us up. And I'm so proud of you, because somebody who loves to operate behind the scenes, I'm so proud of you stepping forward into becoming the powerful, strong leader that God has made you to be. It's been amazing. Sean, my man, you next?
Hi, my name is Sean. Met this guy just walked up to him. Have a bad day that day. It's cold. I was getting high, I don't know. Walked up to him, had a long conversation with him. I tell him, he said, listen to the whole conversation. He fed me. He said with me for like an hour. He took me to the worst neighborhoods. Took me to look at hotels. Put me in a room. There's a lot of good people out there. He works for God. I respect this guy. I came and seen him preach, and I was like amazed. I was thrown away. People like I see some of the best, Chuck Smith, and he's real. I mean, I was like, he's perfect. Oh, Jesus Christ is perfect. literally, God, he was perfect. Yeah, but I will say this: you guys are a good leader. You know what I mean? I love the guy. I've ever known. Ever since I came to the church, everybody is nice to me. You guys, this leader right here, he's with God. He has to be. Thanks for knowing the way.
Oh, love you, bro. Thank you. Come on up.
Public speaking actually makes me nervous, even though I can stand up there and sing. So I came to Prodigal just about over a year ago, a couple of weeks before Easter last year. hesitating to come up here because I'm just like sitting there crying. But I came to Prodigal at a time where Luis and I were going through a really difficult time in our relationship. And I'm thankful because Yesenia invited Luis to church. And that's how I eventually came over. And I really sought community here because I needed it from women. I didn't have that from the church. Well, that was when my Calvin mothership. But I was just like lost there. I didn't really connect much with people there, and I did here immediately. And but I knew it was going to take effort on my part to, meet people. And so I started going to like some of the women's stuff and started meeting other women there. And it was the women's retreat at Heather's house where I got to sit down and share a little bit of what was happening between Luis and I and the struggles that we were going through. And we sat and prayed. And our relationship took a turn. We started to get involved with the small groups here, which helped me even more get to know people. And now I look around the room and I'm pretty sure I know most of you, at least you know your name. And you guys know my face, I guess. But it encouraged a lot of conversations between Luis and I, the spiritual disciplines, the 5 love languages, and it just really changed us. And I also started to serve in worship again. I remember sitting in the back with Yesenia, praying about the step that I was going to take, and then talking to Stephen and bawling about that. I'm just thankful that I'm here and that I'm able to be a part of this family. Definitely found what I was looking for, so thank you.
It's crazy how God works. I'm my boss the dates a little bit, but pretty sure Yesenia went into GNC, dropped off a flyer, only for a year later, a business card?
No.
What'd you drop off?
But they were to go get supplements, and we started talking, and I think I started crying at one point. Then, I left for Mexico, and then God told me to get him a book, and it was Tattoos of Heart. And I remember I called, and then I hung up, because I didn't know what he said. I called again, did you just call? I'm like, oh yeah. But I invited him to church the first time, and then the second time I brought the book, and I put something in there and told him, if you ever want to talk or want to come to church. And it was really weird because I remember when you came, because that night I prayed and I thought of him, of Luis. I go, God, I'm going to show up today or tomorrow. I'm going to go to Max House and see if he's still there. And I arrive late and I park, and then here comes Luis walking up the church on the side. Oh my God. And I remember sitting behind him like,
Oh, awesome. This is amazing. Come down here. All right, Jen, come on up. It's one of the OGs right here.
So being one of the people that have been here since the beginning, there's a lot of things that come to mind. I was supposed to be in kids ministry tonight, and so I wasn't. So I didn't. I'm really grateful that I get to be in here and experience our last service in Prodigal since I was here since the beginning. So there's a lot of things that come to mind for me being here since the beginning. Friendships, relationships that have become a part of my life, mentors turned friends, and really, I think Prodigal has taught me a lot about God, about what it looks like to go through pain, what it looks like to go through loss, and to be able to still to be able to know what it's like to access His strength in a way that I hadn't ever gone through a church other than Prodigal. But I also think about just the very, very beginning. And that's all I'm thinking about now, is when He first told me that He was approached by Calvary to be the pastor. And this, for those of you that don't know their full story, make sure you do. You sit down and you hear it, because it's pretty incredible that they were not prepared, or they did not plan on shepherding a church and being pastors. So at the very beginning, I wasn't that shocked. I was like, okay, that makes sense. He's going to be a pastor. And I remember sitting on the grass at our apartment complex and him telling me, yeah, I'm going to be the associate pastor. And I said, awesome. You're not going to be the associate pastor forever. And he said, no, I probably will, but it's okay. Like, I'm happy to be it. And I said, no, you're not. You're going to be the lead pastor. And so it's just really incredible to see how he's grown. And, really, for those of you that don't know what's gone behind the scenes, Matthew and Aaron, the ways that they have, gone through this journey with so much strength and wisdom and obedience and compassion. How Aaron has been a rock in this church, and that we would not be where we are today without you, Aaron, as well. And then just Darren and Jacqueline, and I just think of you guys, and I think about the circles that we sat planning and dreaming, and how you guys are still here today, as well as others as well. But all that to be said is, I think when I think back on our journey, I think about you guys, and I think about how God has equipped you and prepared you for this moment to launch into new life. And therefore, I have full confidence and joy that everything that was beautiful and difficult throughout these years is even going to be better in the next, because I know, watching the leadership, that we're in good hands.
So I'll humble brag for a second, but I have the best family on the planet. Come on up, Brian. Jacob, you next. Oh, Jacob beat you in the punch. Jacob, you go first. Brian will go second.
Hi everybody, I'm Jacob. I'm very happy for, I thought here that, sorry. Hi, I'm Jacob. I know Matt and Aaron a long time, and they really can be between Matt. Here at the church, they joined with regular church the first time, and me and Matt been present forever. And I love how we are a family. We always have the meeting worship team, and how big we are. And I'm very blessed and humble how it is to be family. And I just want to say another one.
Hi, I'm Brian. You don't know me. I want to talk about how I met Matt. We used to work at the mortgage company together.
Slinging mortgages. Just Brian.
I didn't know Matt besides, say, like a hey in the hallway or in the break room. And Serena kind of touched on it, but we were going to another church, and it was probably one of the lowest points in my life, in my emotional state, and just I was messed up. And I was at my desk and got an email from the head of the company that said Matt was leaving to start a church. And I just immediately stood up, walked across the office to Matt's desk, and sat down. I was like, tell me about your church. And at the church we were at, we were, for all intents and purposes, or I was a Sunday Christian. I was not reading my Bible. I was just in the church on Sunday because that's what I had done. And the relationship that you and I have over the last 3 years, your accountability, your rawness has made me into a completely different man, completely different husband, completely different father, and most importantly, a completely different child of God. And I thank you for that. And the relationship that we have today, and Stephen as well, right there. I've been with some big life moments for you, and
And you've held me accountable, and I've held you accountable, and I appreciate that. And you're pushing me to be a disciple of others, and the new relationships that are budding, that now I can help people. And I just appreciate you for that, and the pushing that you have, and this whole family. You guys are amazing. So thank you.
God has been so good to me, to bless me with a friend like Brian, who has served from day one. I'll never forget the dinner we had. So we met with him and Suna the very first time, and the very first question that him and Suna asked was, how can we help? And that says it all. That's how I would sum up Health Visions, is how can we help. They do the dirty work, they do the jobs nobody wants to do, they do it thanklessly. Brian doesn't get nearly paid as much as he should. And he's just an amazing man, and I'm just very lucky, fortunate. I want to talk about someone else real quick too, because I'm blessed with two brothers and pillars, and the second is Stephen. Those of you that don't know, Stephen and I didn't know each other before this at all, right? So Cameron and I go back many years. I know a lot of you guys way before Prodigal. I had never met Stephen. I meet him at this park before we did even preview services, because he was invited by a friend of a friend. And what a blessing you have been, man. Those friends who have invited Stephen have gone and left. The friends of the friends of the friends have gone and left. And yet you've still been here. And we have been through everything together. Every second Prodigal, you've been there, and you've been such a gift and such a blessing. And I get down on my knees and thank God for you, because there's no way we could continue without you. Love you. You guys know, fun fact, did you guys know, did you see some early clips, that I was actually Prodigal's first worship leader? Did you guys know that? About 6 months. We clearly upgraded. Big time. It was fun to look at some of those old clips and like, whoa!
Wait, let me share that story. Okay. Thank you, Matt. That was very sweet. I'll keep it brief. So to segue off of that, I went to this park outreach. I met all these super cool people, Matt being one of them, and this friend of a friend was like, yeah, we're starting this church, and I've heard that there's going to be basically a spot that we need a worship leader, so I kind of thought of you for that. And I'm like, I had just started serving again in a different church, volunteering, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll meet this guy that they call Matt, and we'll check it out. So I go to Chipotle with him. There's a similar theme. I think you can take all your people to Chipotle, but I'm okay with that. So we go out to lunch one day, and I'm expecting him to kind of, drop a bomb on me to say I've heard your story, and we're thinking about hiring somebody for worship, and we think that you might be a good fit. That was not even close to the conversation. Bear with me if you've heard the story already. So we're talking, and he goes, yeah, I just really feel that God's putting on my heart that Matt, am supposed to be the worship guy for Prodigal Church. And this is before I, saw him leading or anything like that, so it has nothing to do with that. And I was just like, wow, this is not how I thought this conversation was going to go in the slightest. But it was still so encouraging, because I was so intrigued by what you were saying about Prodigal and what the start was going to be all about, and I wanted to be part of it. And I was serving at actually a couple different churches at the time, and he's like, we'd love to have you, but if you're going to come and serve at Prodigal, come and have Prodigal be your only church. And I was like, oh, dang. You mean I shouldn't do the 3-church life? He's like, no, I'm serious. If you want to be part of this, come and have Prodigal be your only church. And that's what ended up happening, and then transitioned into worship a handful of months later. And just the ups and downs of what we've gone through as Prodigal, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ups and downs that we'll go through as new life. That's not going to change. That's what life is all about. But I have learned the art of flexibility with Matt, where I get a call from him, when we're at the theater, and he calls me on Friday afternoon. He's like, yeah, so I got some really crappy news. We're getting kicked out, all this. And at that point, it's just like, cool. What's new? Let's go, let's figure it out. And being part of this church since the actual launch, not since day one, but I have never been more proud to call Prodigal, soon to be New Life, my church home for the last 4 years, and have never been more proud to serve alongside you and this church community and the memories. I was racking my brain on my seat trying to think of the countless stories that are just going through that can't even sum up what you guys have meant to me, what Matt has meant to me. Thinking about the men's retreat weekend that we had in Big Bear, listening to show tunes on the way up with Eddie, the least manly thing in the entire world, but I loved every second of it. Listening to Taylor Swift, yeah, I'm throwing you and myself under the bus, it's okay. But just being part of this community and looking forward to what's ahead. A little less than a year ago, I got a call. I'm from Arizona, for those of you who don't know. I don't know if I ever shared this with you, so here we go. Basically got a call from somebody who had a connection of like a big corporate job in Arizona, and he said, I think you'd be a really good fit for this job. And this was probably about 10 months ago, and I thought about it and kind of prayed through it a little bit, but it didn't even scratch the surface, because the immediate thought that I had was, God's got me here for a reason. He's got such bigger plans at Prodigal moving forward, and that was 10 months ago. So I didn't even take an interview, because I knew that something like this, I knew that God had me in this place, I knew that God had us in this place moving forward, and it's just been a great journey with you. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you guys for just being a rock solid family for me as well.
Serena's so smart to go early. Because you don't think public speaking, you like think about it the whole time. I just don't want to get up. And I really thought I wasn't going to cry today. I mean, Eddie and I always cry. There's no, we just always do. I just wanted to say a couple of things. One is it has been an honor to serve with him. He really is the person that you see on TV. That is the man I live with. And no, Sean, he's not perfect. But he's annoyingly close. It has been, like, so interesting how much I didn't want to do this journey. From the very beginning, I didn't. And yes, if you had told me all the lows, I would run, because I already wanted to, but tonight it's so beautiful to have your cup filled by so many things. And to watch my person, be loved on so well. You have said such kind things. You've loved us really well. You cheered for us. You prayed for us when we wanted to be pregnant. You cried with us when Prodigal, started out so differently, and it was so hard to lose that. That was just so painful for us. That took me so long to get over. And he's the lead. It's just, it's been an interesting journey. It's funny because I'm a very nostalgic person by nature. My sisters and I are all kind of wired that way. I hate endings. I rewatch my favorite movies because I don't like things to end. So it's interesting. Kristen even asked me how I was doing, and I'm like, I'm great. I'm good. And it's funny, I think I am sad to see the name Prodigal go. It's taken me till today to think that. I don't know why, but there was just some painful things associated with that name. And for some of you, it's painful to leave that name behind, and I get that. But I hope that as we step into new life, just seeing him pray and get that name and be so excited. I'm so excited to step into this new journey. I've actually never felt more confident about our next stage. I've kind of always worried. I've worried when we've gotten smaller in number. I've worried when, we lost the movie theater. That just felt so right. Why did we lose it? But yet this is so interesting because Prodigal has never been a place. It's really even not the name. It's just who we are. And I'm just so filled with love and gratitude that you have let us be part of this journey, that you've supported us. I hope that, even though nostalgically now I'm kind of like, oh wait, it doesn't have to be over. It doesn't, but I hope you step into the new name with excitement as I do, because I just feel like there's so many beautiful things ahead of us. Yeah.
I've always said that she is the real pastor of Prodigal New Life, and she is 100% the backbone and foundation to everything you see. You are good. We'll do about 1 to 2 more after. We're saving it up after time.
My name is Luis. You should I go really open. I'm also getting sick, so I was scared. So happy about how I met yesterday. She came in, she was talking about to me about God. She started crying, and I just kind of sat there like, ooh. I don't do well, and I just kind of, okay, well, how did I say? And she left. Comes back to the book. I was like, okay. I grabbed the book, I threw it in my gym bag. I was like, I'm never gonna read it. I stayed in my gym bag for the next month or 2, and I opened it because one day there's nothing to do. I read it, and then the first page is talking about God and how we need God. And I normally find myself, I don't need anyone. I don't need people, God, anything. I can be 100% alone, I'm happy. So me and my family are really that close. So that's probably part of it. But I came to church, this thing had this big old smile. Well, my first time when I walked in was this dark church, and I was like, man, there is started counting people, I'm like, there's 20 people in here, I'm like, let's turn around. And then your mom stopped me and said, oh, I got to see it. I was like, okay. All right. So I had it up, I sat down, and I was like, all right, as soon as church is done, I'll book it to the door and never come back. As soon as church was done, Matt comes up to me, and I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to die. So I tried, we talked, and he's like, we'll have lunch together. I'm like, sure we will. And so, sure enough, he messaged me, hey, let's have lunch. I'm like, he is the most persistent ever. I'm like, okay, let's have lunch. We had lunch, and then went to the men's group at Cameron's house. And so after that, talking to you, getting to know everyone here, almost I've actually gotten close to God. I've actually needed, especially as people in my life. So that's hopefully overall for the person.
Come on up, Christian.
How's everybody doing? All right. I just kind of want to share my story of how I met Matt and Aaron. It's about a year and a half, almost a year and a half, been here with Prodigal. But I just want to acknowledge my wife and Aaron because something tragic happened in our life. My son was actually sick at a hospital, and as Brooke was leaving, my wife was leaving. Aaron approached her and said, "Hey, and they got to talk. They started talking about worship and Jesus and God. And Brooke came home one day and she goes, "Hey, Christian, man, I met somebody. Her name is Aaron, and she's talking about God and talked about her husband being a pastor of this church. Why don't you come out and check it out?" I said, I was like kind of uneasy. I didn't know how to feel, but I just wanted to give it a chance. And she showed me the website. I'm like, wow, it seemed pretty cool, right? So I came out, and out of something tragic, something magical happened. So I just want to also acknowledge Aaron for having that courage to even speak to my wife, because if not her saying anything to my wife to come out here, I won't be here. It's been a long time coming for me to come home to a place that I would call my own. I don't know when I stepped into a church, and being here seems like more of a family. I love the culture that's happening here, and I'm excited about New Life and what's going to happen for the future, and we're here for the long haul. So appreciate you, and I also want to say thank Matt. He is persistent. He always wants to go to lunch, and I've been some weight, but I really truly appreciate his mentorship. He gives it to me not what I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? He gives it to me raw on what I should hear. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. You know, so he's not more. He's more than just a friend. You know, he's mentoring me and he's giving me what I need. You know, to be a better husband. You know, be a better father. And I got 5 kids and they're sitting over there, right? So I mean, you know, and those are things that are very valuable to me. So I appreciate that. I love you, bro.
Come on up, Eddie.
I'm going to try not to cry. Absolutely not here today. I've been flooded with emotions and feelings and thoughts and memories, and there's way too many to share. But I'm going to start with that out-of-body experience that he talked about when I accepted Jesus Christ in my life. Because I feel like it was literally Jesus pulling me up to my chair and saying, "You belong with me, you belong here." I remember looking back at my seat going, why am I walking? What am I doing? Why am I crying so much? But that moment wouldn't have happened if Liz hadn't responded to a Facebook post by Christina Schiffel saying, "Hey, if anyone wants to drop off their kid, I'll watch them for a couple of hours." And she just happened to see it in a mom's group. And it's like, "Can you watch my kid all the time?" So we went and met them, and she ended up watching Willow every day for quite a while, about a year and a half. But they invited us to come here for Easter, and it changed my life completely because I hadn't gone to church before. I hadn't been a part of a church community. And I questioned my entire life. I remember being little thinking, where do I go? Like, what do I do, God? Like, my family's Catholic and they don't go to church. And where do I find this relationship? Like, what am I doing wrong? And I thought it was me. So I spent my life feeling lost. And then in that very moment where Jesus was like, "Come with me, you belong here." And it being his first altar call, I had no idea then, but you're welcome. It literally changed my life, and if I didn't have a soft enough heart, it made it even more soft. There's a soft core instead of this soft body. But there have been countless moments where I have gone through struggles, gone through, numerous hardships, even to the point where I'm at a concert in Hollywood and I get a phone call that my nephew shot himself, and I can't think even what to do next. Like, I have no idea. In that moment, my wife called him and said, "We need you. We need you now." And we went home. We took an Uber from Hollywood. I had no idea what we were going to do. And he met me at my house at like 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night. And I cried in his arms. And we prayed. And I haven't felt that kind of love and support for a long, long time. Where he was at my disposal. This is God's left hand. Well, here, use him. You need him. And he was there in a moment's notice. He showed up at my house and cried with me. And prayed with me, and he's prayed with me for everything that goes wrong in my life till I call him. He's really been a rock for me for helping keep me grounded and keep me checking my tank with my faith. He asks me every single time I talk, "How's your faith tank? How are you? How are you getting empty? Do you need to beat up?" He never invites me to lunch. I always get coffee, so. I'm not good enough for a meal. I only get coffee. So, the coffee bean is ours. Probably somebody else's good coffee. But he's always been a nurturing person who's held my heart and taken care of it and helped me in my journey with Christ. And matter what's going on, he always checks in with me at the exact right moment. And I know it's God working in him. So I have gained countless friendships and relationships, and I'm grateful for every single person here. Because I've either unloaded a cart with you, or built a storage shed, or helped decorate something, or done something with you hand in hand, whether it just be spending time or working. So I appreciate every single person here, and thank you for everything you've done for me.
I'll invite Stephen up if we can. And he gave one of the best compliments ever. He said, I have found my forever family at Prodigal. I never heard someone say that. Forever family. And you meant it. Okay, come on up.
I really don't like public speaking. And yet Matt keeps asking me how I'm good at it. Kind of leaning, I'm trying to think of where to start because there's a lot of thoughts. First thing I want to say is I think it's a real, I think it says something that we're all still here despite all the difficulty through. We've been through a lot of change, and a lot of it very painful. But despite all that, still being here with you guys, it's amazing. I think so much good has come out of it, and that's just a huge testament to the people involved in being down there and all the other volunteers who have stuck around to keep it together. Because the thing is, you guys probably don't know this about Matt, but or you probably do, but Matt's a person of great ambition. You all know that he's incredibly likable, and a lot of pastors are, but a lot of those same pastors also don't have business sense. I do tax returns for a living, and I've done a lot of pastors, and they don't make a lot of money. Like, I thought they didn't make a lot, but then I actually looked at their W-2s that they received. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do they have a family? Like, it's crazy. But Matt and I have worked at a couple companies together, and he's been their top person every time. At one of them, it was so funny. I remember Matt texted me and was like, hey, this guy that I was helping, one of our clients, just said, hey, how would you like to make, 150 grand a year? And so Matt was gone the next day or next week or something. So the fact that, he wants to raise a family in Orange County, which is very hard, and that is really extensive here, and he has the capacity, has the ability to do a lot of other things. Like, a lot of people have offered Matt good money to do this, do that, but he's stuck here for some reason, and I just keep asking him, like, but why? The company that actually worked for the same company with Brian and Matt, and when he told me he was leaving, I thought it was really cool, but to be honest, part of me was like, why? Like, you're one of our managers, like, you have a great future here, the CEO loves you, I mean, he's really buddy, and kind of giving up all that. I'm trying to give up my materialistic heart, but it's still there. So I just see things in dollar signs. So I think a person who's willing to cast aside basically the financial world to go through a lot of difficulties to be here and to love on us and to try to keep us together is a person who I would trust to follow church on Sundays and to look after our spiritual hearts. So I'm excited for our future. I'm excited for what this change is going to bring.
I'll talk about Cam real quick. Cameron's been with Prodigal since day one, and you have been one of the safest people in my life. Cameron doesn't let me do the question asking. Kevin asks me the questions. And I just appreciate you're so safe. And you've been such a good listener and encourager this whole time. I'm very blessed that I felt like that. I think it's kind of cool. I just want to, we're going to finish up. I can do this all night. I love hearing from you guys. It's funny, I'm really excited about this next season. And I just want to kind of put it in perspective really quick. We're not moving to a nicer place. We're not moving somewhere because it benefits us per se. We're moving because we want to impact the kingdom. Right? Let's just be honest, real talk. We get free rent here. We're leaving free rent to willingly pay rent. We're leaving $1 million room to have an office. But we're doing that because it's never been about us living a comfy life, but it's always been about us following faith. And so I just want to encourage us and look each and every one of you in the eye and say, we are embarking on something very special. And I believe with all of my heart that this group of people, with a humble heart and the right attitude, can really light Tustin on fire. Like we can really impact it in a way that's eternal. And it's not, we're not doing life to be famous. We're not branded. There's nothing about it that I hope to increase our status. But I really believe deep in my soul that we can impact the kingdom. And that's why I'm excited. I'm excited because I love you guys. And I've known you guys for a long time. Those of you that I'm still getting to know, I love doing life with you. And I just hope that you're excited about this next chapter like I am. And that you position your heart to ask God, what can I do? How can I be a part of new life? How can I be a branch, a leaf? How can I help this kingdom expand? Because if we all enter into that heart, the sky's the limit. I really believe you put God and you have the willingness of humans, and all bets are off, and anything is possible. And so I'm just so excited. This isn't the death of something. This isn't the stopping. This is the transition and the transformation into something new. And so we're going to sing one song together. I think it's pretty cool. We're going to sing Nothing I Hold On To. Steve being flexible. Changing things up. The song says, I will climb this mountain with my arms wide open. And let me explain to you why this is so powerful. Because to me that really signifies what a journey of faith looks like. It's an arms open posture where you say, God, you're the one driving. God, you're the one leading. God, you are the one in control. And so I want to invite us to stand together and to sing this with all that we have. Because we are walking into Tustin with our arms wide open. We are climbing this mountain in full faith. And I know the presence of God is with us and is preparing something for us. And so let's sing this together as a body, knowing full well what we're walking into.